Today I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to make a multi-item sorter that works for the latest version of Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and it will continue working until it breaks, and when it breaks I will update the title, so if it says it works in the title then I promise you it does. Anyways, you can view a little bit of a preview right over here. I've built one tile, but it is actually tileable, and so you can make this as large as you'd like. Here's an example of how I use this in one of my Minecraft survival worlds. All the redstone is back there, obviously, and this is what the chests look from the inside. This is a little bit of idea how this is going to work. So basically, you prepare at least one item in the slot of a chest, and then all other items that are the same will get sorted into it. Basically, a glorified copper golem, but a little more efficient. Anyways, don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to use this and all of that at the end once we've built it. There should be some chapters down in the description below if you want to check those out. Anyways, for the items, you can view them right over here. So these items up the top over here, these are the ones you're going to need for the clock. The clock you use to make this, you always need this. And then these are the items you need for one tile. So you can view one tile right over here. It supplies 5 double chests worth of items, and as I said, you can technically make this as wide as you want, and so grab the items for as many tiles as you want to make. And I'll explain how the tiling works at the end as well once I've finished this part. Anyways, pause the video, screenshot these, and I'll actually also leave them right down in the description below. Alright, now let's get started. On the very right hand side of where you want to build this, you want to place down 2 repeaters like so, and then a solid block in front. With all the blocks I'm placing in this video, it's important that they're solid blocks, so you can't use glass for an example. Then you want to place 1 redstone dust here and another repeater there, just like that. Then you can place a block here, a redstone torch off of the back of it like so, a repeater going into that, then 2 blocks behind this repeater, you want to place another block and a redstone torch. It should look a little something like this. Now you can actually set custom delays to repeaters inside of Minecraft, and that's exactly what we need to do here. It's very important that you set the exact same delay. On mobile, you can do it by tapping on them, or if you're on a PC, you can right click on them. On this first one here, we want to right click 3 times, so this pin is at the very end, and this one just right click once. Then this one over here, we want to right click 3 times once again, and this one we can leave at default. Anyways, once you've done that, you can place 1 redstone dust over here, 2 redstone dust over here, and leave it like that for right now. Anyways, moving over here, we want to place 1 redstone dust, place a block on top of that, and then you want to place your comparators. Place them 4 like this, and 4 like this. It's very important that they are facing the correct direction. So these back comparators, you want them to be facing left, and these to be facing right, into this block with this little pin there. Next up, we want to place down some more redstone dust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. Then place 3 blocks in a triangle shape, just like so. Place 2 redstone dust here with a repeater going into this block. Then place 1 redstone dust in this location. Place a full block next to this second dust and place a repeater going into that on maximum delay. Once again, very important that these are facing the correct direction. If you look very closely, you can kind of see an arrow on the top over here. Make sure it's facing right into that block. Anyways, behind the repeater, you want to place a block just like that, and then continue all the way to this side until you get here. Here, place 1 temporary block, a block above it, and then you can break this one. On all the blocks we just placed, we want to place some redstone, just like this. Now you'll see that this redstone dust connects over here. We don't want that, and to fix it, we'll just place a block on top of that redstone dust, and that'll cut them off. This is about what the clock should look like from a bird's eye view. It's complete now. Now we can start building the actual sorting system. I'll first show you how to build a tile exactly like I've done here, and then explain exactly how you can build as much as you want of those right next to each other. Anyways, to get started off, we can go back over here And then you want to place, I'm gonna be starting on the left hand side over here. So I'll start with the leftmost tile and then show you how to tile rightwards, so in that direction. We want to place a repeater going in this direction right over here, and then a block right in front of that. On top of that block, you want to place a redstone torch. Then on top of that redstone torch, another block with another redstone torch on top of it, and you guessed it, another block on top of that. This you kind of want to turn into a zigzag, so we can place one block in front of that, like so. Then go up one block on the left hand side and make, kind of a diagonal shape here. Then go up once again, just like that. Up once again. Up once again. And then in this last one on the left hand side, we only want to place the first block. So you should get something looking a little like this. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. With this zigzag built, we want to place one temporary block on the right hand side and then place one block on top of that. This block we want to stack up 1, 2, 3, 4 times, just like so. So it's as tall as this one right over here. Now you can place in your chests, and there's two ways you can place them. You can either place them horizontally like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so, and you want to place them in front of all of these blocks we just placed here. Or alternatively, you can place them sideways. To do that, you want to place them in front of the area where we haven't placed blocks, and then you can place them something like this. I showed you an example with this earlier up there in that room. Both of these methods work. You can choose which one you prefer, but I'm going to be going for this one. Now we want to start placing our hoppers. You can place one into the back of each chest, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, it's very important that these hoppers are also facing the correct direction. You'll notice that just like the repeaters, these hoppers have, little things at the end over here that show in which direction they're going. You want these all to be facing right into the chests, just like this. Something incorrect would be if they are facing down like that. That will cause items to skip this chest completely, which we don't want. So make sure they're funneling right into the chest, just like that. Anyways, now underneath this bottom chest, we want to place one temporary block and then one hopper going into that. Yes, it is going into it. That is exactly what we want. Anyways, once you've done that, we can break this block, then place one temporary block underneath of the hopper, then place 1, 2, 3 more temporary blocks. Break these first 3, then we want to place some more hoppers. So crouch and place 1, 2, 3 hoppers, all facing into each other in this manner, where the last one is going to be underneath this hopper we just placed. So it should look a little something like this. That's exactly what we want to achieve. Once you've done that, we can start placing some torches and some repeaters in this zigzag area we made. So on the left hand block here, we want to place 1 torch, 2 torch, 3 torches, and then move over to the other side and we can do the exact same thing. Place 1 torch here, 1 torch here, and finally another torch here. You'll notice that some of these torches are also going to be turning off. That's exactly what we want. Anyways, now we can place in our repeaters. 1, 2, 3 on this side. These want to be all next to the torches. And then crouch and place it on top of this hopper. 1, 2, 3 on this side as well. Now we need to set the delays. For all of the ones on the right hand side, so the ones going into the hoppers, we want to click on them once. There we go, just like that. For the ones on the other side, so the left hand side facing into the blocks, we want to click on each of these twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now next to this temporary block down here, we want to create something of a triangle shape. So place 1 block down here, then 1 block up there, and then another block over there. We want to place a redstone torch on this block right above the redstone. You'll notice that's going to power it, and it might turn on the clock. That's absolutely fine. That doesn't matter. Then you want to place a redstone comparator right off of that block. You'll notice that's going to turn on as well. And then we want to place 7 droppers. Now, Minecraft has 2 items, droppers, which are these, and dispensers, which are these. It's very important that for this tutorial we use droppers and not dispensers. Dispensers will break the system. Droppers are exactly what they need. Now on top of this bottom block over here in the middle, we want to place 7 droppers facing upwards. Very important that it is upwards, and very important that they are droppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like that. Once again, make sure these are all facing upwards so you can see this black dot in the middle right over there. Once you've done that, you want to go to the direction where the chest is, crouch and place 1 dropper facing towards you. You want the mouth area to be facing towards this hopper here. Then on top of this hopper, we want to place another one of these droppers, once again facing in this same direction. You can see it right over there as well. Anyways, now we want to place 3 hoppers connecting these two. So crouch and then place 1, 2, 3 hoppers. And you want their nozzles to be going left. So right into this dropper above the chests. Then grab some solid blocks and you want to place 1 behind each of the droppers that you just placed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just like that. Now we want to place a whole bunch of temporary blocks. So place a block off of the side of this comparator right over here. And then stack upwards until we reach the same height as the dropper. As the top dropper. Then you want to grab some observers and place them right above this comparator. The reason why we need these temporary blocks is because you need to place them against the temporary blocks. This will ensure that they are facing the correct direction. I'll show you how you can check that in a second, but we want to place them just like this right until we reach the very top. Then we want to break all of these blocks in front over here, including this one. And you want to be able to see all of their faces. If you can see the faces from standing behind over here, that's how you'll know that these are all facing the correct direction. Now we want to build something of a staircase going down from here. So place 1 block there and then 1 block there like so. Grab a comparator and place it in this direction so that the little nozzle is pointing into the block that has the redstone torch on it. Into this bottom block, we want to place 2 repeaters, and you can see the arrows are going into this block. On this first one over here, we want to set the max delay, so 1, 2, 3 clicks, and on this one, just 1 click. Behind these repeaters, place a block, place a redstone dust on it, and then we can place another block above that. Off of the side of this redstone dust, we want to place another block here. When placing blocks, make sure you don't accidentally hit these repeaters, because that could cause them to reset, and we obviously don't want that. On top of this block pointing left, we want to place a comparator facing this direction, so away from the rest of our items here. Then on top of this block, we want to place a redstone torch, place a block on top of that, and a redstone torch off of the side of it. Then another block on top of that redstone torch, and another redstone torch off of the side of that block, which should cause it to look something like this. Now we want to build a cool little system. To do this, grab another dropper and place it facing upwards off of this block right over here, just like that. Then place a hopper going into that behind it, just like this. On top of this hopper, you want to crouch and place a chest. Doesn't matter which direction it's facing, but it's usual to put it like that. And then finally, above this dropper, place another hopper going into the chest. Once again, it's very important that both hoppers and the dropper are facing in the correct direction, just like this. You'll notice that this forms a little bit of a loop. That's exactly what we want. We can now place a block on top of this comparator. Watch out though, you can actually also turn comparators on and off by right-clicking on them. make sure you don't do that. All of the comparators in this video are going to be turned off. Anyways, finally, we want to grab this hopper right on top over there and place one random block inside. This can't be any block because you don't want to use something that's unstackable, like a shovel or a shield, something like that. You also don't want to use 16 stackable items like snowballs. I'm just going to use one orange wool. That's absolutely fine. You'll notice it's going to be cycled through now, which is okay because we haven't finished the system yet. Above this chest, we want to place a block with an activator rail on it. Yes, an activator rail. Yes, we need it there. And then on the side of this block, we want to place a redstone torch, just like that. You'll notice that stops the system from going crazy. Off of the side of this activator rail, we want to place an observer. If you're on mobile, this may be a little more difficult because we need to make sure that the face is looking right at this torch and the rail. So if you're unable to place it off of the rail, then you can also just break it, place a block there, place the observer, and then break it again. Just make sure it's facing in the right direction. Also, there's an arrow on top. We want that to be facing that way, but that'll automatically happen if you can see the face facing the right way. Off of the back of that, we want to place one redstone torch like so. Then on top of the redstone torch, place an observer. We want this arrow to be facing upwards here. Then place a torch on top of that. Place an observer on top of that. A torch on top of that observer with another observer on top. And finally, one more torch. Very important that all of these arrows here are facing upwards. As you can see, they all are. Now, believe it or not, our storage system is actually finished. So, make sure yours is working correctly. It wouldn't be crazy to have made a little mistake over here. Looking from it from this side, it should look something like this. And then from the other side as well, right over here. Anyways, you'll notice if you've made a mistake when testing everything. If you notice that it doesn't work, then really common errors can be incorrect repeater delays, or just sometimes one single block or redstone torch missing, something like that. Anyways, now I'll show you how to tile this, so how to build more of these systems right next to each other, and then finally I'll show you how to hook this up and actually use it. So for the tiling, we can go over to this side, and as I said, we have built the leftmost tile right over here, and next to this we can basically build more. So to hook these up, we want to view this repeater. Remember, that's the first block we placed. Now this happens to have a block over here, but you'll notice that these don't have a block in front of them. So basically from this repeater, skip a block, place another repeater, and then do exactly the same as we did. So block, redstone torch, block, redstone torch. You get the idea. And you'll notice that these are going to perfectly be next to each other with no gap in between. That is a huge advantage of this system. Basically, the only difference is that you're not going to have a block here, but it's going to be connected to the redstone dust, which, yeah, that's fine. Now, with this clock we built, we can actually do this another 2 times. So block over here, repeater over here, then another torch on top of it, just like that. And finally, one more time over here. So a repeater, a block, a torch with another block, and you get the idea. Once we've already got one of these built, it's really easy to build the other ones because you can just literally copy it. Oh, look, we've got a block right over there. You can do it in like any order you want. It's super easy. If you build this up fully, you'll have a total of around 40 chests that you can fill and use to the maximum. If that still isn't enough for you, then of course you can build more. But if you do, then I recommend building another clock and not using this one. So maybe skipping a few blocks over here, adding a nice pillar in between or whatever, and then continuing building with another clock. I recommend adding a maximum of 4 per clock, otherwise it gets a little finicky. Why, you may ask? Well, because of the redstone distance. So if we power something with redstone, as you can see, most of you probably already know this, but the redstone goes a certain distance. As you can see, it decreases over time. I think it's like 15 blocks. Anyways, to extend redstone, one would traditionally add a repeater in the middle, and that will extend the signal. The problem with that is that a repeater adds delay, which is something we've used a lot throughout here. If we were to extend this signal here by adding a repeater in the middle and thus extend it, you would actually add a delay to it as well, which in this clock won't work. That's why also the system will probably break if you accidentally have a repeater set incorrectly. And so don't use repeaters to extend these signals, just build another one of these clocks. Anyways, I've kind of built up a mock second tile over here, and there's actually a specific way in which you want to link these up. So you'll remember that we had these hoppers coming out of the bottom right over here. And we just had these going into this block for right now. So to link this side up to this first tile right over here, we want to simply place some hoppers, and these are going to be going into the bottom dropper right over here. So it's a little difficult to see, but you'll notice that this one is going into this hopper is going into that dropper right over there. And that is how you would link these up. So if we have let's say another third system right over there, which I've already built some things for. You know, we've got the droppers going up once again. Then we have the hoppers coming out of this second one. These up, simply place these hoppers just like this. Make sure they're all going in the right direction, and then these are all going to be linked up, and you can do that as many times as you want. Simply hook these hoppers coming out of there to wherever the next system is. If you're using multiple clocks, and say we have the a final system right over here with like a hopper coming out of it, just like so. I think that's one block too low, but who cares? Let's say we have an entire another system over here, then it is also literally as simple as then just bringing that over to this dropper. Even if for the rest they're not connected, you can just link them up with hoppers like that. Anyways, how do you actually use this system? Well, you got to input your items somewhere. For this, it's probably useful if I got a chest. So you want the items from your chest to go into this bottom dropper right over here, just like we fed the leftover items from this row down through here into the bottom dropper over there. So because it's probably not too nice to have it next to all the redstone, I'm just going to take some hoppers, run them through here, and maybe actually we'll have and go up a little. There we go. And then we can place a chest right on top of that. And you'd imagine that we'd decorate this, you know, place some more blocks. And basically, everything that you want to go into the system, we can place it in that chest. And as long as this chest feeds into this bottom dropper right over here, everything is going to get sorted right in, which is beautiful. You notice that it goes through there. And in this case, it's all actually going to be sorted into the top chest, as you can see, which I'll get to in a second. However, there is one small caveat. Say we don't have this. Sometimes you might feed in an item like flint and steel, which you can't stack and can't be handled by the system. Or you might feed in something that you haven't sorted into the system yet. If that's the case, it's never going to get sorted. And so you need some kind of overflow chest. So in this case, I've got 4 of these tiles here, and I've just built the 4th one up a little bit. Excuse my laziness. But basically, these hoppers, which we would here simply feed into the next one of these dropper rows. You can do that, but this is going to be the end of our system. At the end of your system, I highly recommend that you just, build up a chest somewhere. Maybe I can place one here, and then let's have these hoppers go into that. Obviously you want that to be accessible somewhere, but then this would be my overflow chest. So everything that doesn't get sorted into the system can simply get dumped in this chest instead of sticking somewhere in some random hopper, because eventually it's gonna get full and it'll probably break. So you just need an overflow chest, and you can link that up with these hoppers coming out of the lost tile you built that don't need to go into another set of these droppers. So how do you use the sorting system? Well, as I said, this system will sort into items of the same type. As an example over here, I've got mangrove planks and warped planks. Let's fill this entire chest up with mangrove planks, right? Just like this. And then, I mean, this chest we can leave empty or whatever, or we can fill it up with warped planks here for that matter. Just like this. Now let's check what happens when we place 2 mangrove planks and 2 warped planks into our system. They're going to go through. The system is arguably not the fastest thing you've ever seen, yet it does work pretty well, pretty efficiently. Just like, I mean, if you're going to dump 20 stacks of cobblestone into this thing, at that point, just make a chest somewhere else to dump it all into. But as you can see, the 2 mangrove planks I put in got sorted into the mangrove planks chest, and the warped planks obviously didn't get put into this chest. They skipped them, and they got put into here, because there was an item there for it. So maybe we put a redstone dust inside of that chest, and you'll notice that if I place some redstone dust into there and we wait a little bit, eventually we'll see, we'll see this redstone dust appear right in this chest. And as I'm speaking, there we go. The redstone dust all got filtered right into there. Now up here in my old survival world, you can see a much bigger example of this. So I just had some, I guess, bamboo and torches here. Then space that I didn't want to fill with anything yet, I just placed some stone in because, I mean, I guess stone could sort into here, but for the rest, all other items would skip it. Here I had coral. If I place anything with coral into it, it'd go into there. Here I had a bunch of nether stuff, I guess. Here I had a bunch of redstone, bunch of ores. You guys get the idea. This is basically how that works. You fill in the slots of the chest, and then whichever slots are filled in, that's what it gets sorted into. So pretty cool if you ask me. I'm a big fan of this storage system. As you can see, in this survival world I had was pretty massive, and like I really only used one of these systems. So yeah, that's nice. And kind of a side note, but for these blocks that I had a lot of, like stone, I just built these storage silos because it's so much easier than dumping all of that into here. As you can see, this is really useful if you've got a bunch of these small items. It just sorts them all perfectly. But if you're gonna like dump a million stacks of dirt into this, it's just not necessarily the use case for this item sorter. And that's also not really what you need an item sorter for, right? If you got like double chests of stuff, they just don't sort it. Anyways, yep, that was basically that. If you like this video, then make sure to subscribe, of course. I greatly appreciate it. Also, the world download for this thing I just built right over here that I showed you guys how to build, the entire world download for this will be in the description if you guys want to check that out, view it for yourself or whatever. Anyways, for right now though, thank you ever so much for watching, and I do of course hope to see you all again in the next one. Bye bye.